talented at this. I hear you're very good at drawing, and they go, ah. So yeah, that's who I'm talking about. And we're like, it's just a little thing. And we're like, you know what? You're in, because you need to be encouraged. And this is a talent. And this is something you need to give out to the world and let God use.
Okay, so I know this group is just limited to women only. So I know that I would surely be invited because of my many talents, but I'm wrong gender. But what about people that don't feel like they're talented, that haven't spent time searching for that? Is there, I don't know.
Chance.
Yeah, is there a chance? Is there a chance that they are talented too, even if they have a different talent?
Well, I like I said, and this is one of the things we feel strongly even in our group, that I believe everyone has talents, and I don't think that people have one talent only. I think and this is the amazing creativity of God, how He created every single one of us with a unique mix of talents. And I believe that it's very, very easy to spot them in other people, and it's very difficult to spot them in ourselves. But at the same time, yeah, I believe that everyone has talents, and they might not be the obvious type. They might not be the artsy type. I think it's most obviously talents are seen in music and arts and sports and just sort of obvious things like that. And people who are very gifted at listening, let's say, or people who are gifted at caring for animals, or people who are gifted at even cleaning. There's people who clean their home amazingly. And I know for sure I don't have that talent. It's one talent, and unfortunately I don't possess. But like any talent, you can obviously develop it. And I refuse to think about that. So I believe that in many ways, and I was also thinking about leadership in the same way, that in many ways talents are like muscles. We all have muscles when we are born. You know, we all have legs. We have muscles in our legs. But not everyone becomes a record-breaking runner. You know, not everyone becomes an athlete. And why is that? Because we just don't work at it. For some reason, we expect talents to just happen, to just do things for us, and we don't expect to be working hard at them and develop them and really be disciplined about them. And I think that it is the people who do that see the result, and they are the people who have these obvious, like overnight talent and overnight success, which is not really overnight.
So is having a talent or discovering your passion or something like this enough, or is there something else that goes into this too?
Oh, that's deep.
I think it is. Watch out, guys, we're going deep. Get in your submarines, get the little snorkel out at the top.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. I don't know. I don't know how to answer this. Maybe another question would be when you were developing your own or recognizing your own talents. You said sometimes it takes, or sometimes we can help others see their talents when they don't see them. Is there anything more to that thought? Or I would be interested in hearing how you felt encouraged, or if you have a story of a time when someone came up and told you. I do actually. Some of you might know, some probably don't. But I'm also very passionate about dramatic arts, well, pretty much drama and theater. And this is something that I did in school, and I like writing scripts and directing and acting. And this whole thing has really started with just one teacher, one of my drama teachers, pointing out a very, very simple thing. And we had this exercise. What we had to do, we had to cover pretty much all of our face, and we had to express and show an emotion with our eyes only. And this was pretty difficult. I think I don't remember what exactly I did. But this teacher of mine, she said, "Oh, Alina is so good at expressing emotion through her eyes. She's going to be a good actress." And that just stuck. And I don't know, from there, I guess I had this bit of confidence that grew and grew as I was doing more and more of it. And just goes to show, and I mean, a lot of you probably have those moments in your lives, and I'm hoping that if you haven't, you will. You will have people who will see a little spot from you in one area or another, and will call it that. We'll say, "You're good at this. This is what there's something here that you should work on."
Yeah. Sometimes it just takes that little. Well, sometimes a nice. A nice comment, sometimes a little more, a nice nudge, a tap on the shoulder. Sometimes it takes like a little kick in the rump, right? During the beginning of the week, we've been talking, we talked about value and where we get our value, or where we get our understanding of value. And we looked at different disciplines, business and theology and psychology and philosophies, things like that. And sometimes people tie their value to how talented they are, maybe when comparing themselves to others. And then when you see a great painter, and I can draw stick figures pretty well, but
we share that.
Can you speak to that? How can we understand our values in a way that is maybe not as comparative?
In answer to this question, maybe I should let Anya Zhukovic share a favorite quote that she sent to me early this week from the book we're studying. And do you remember the quote, Anya? You don't? Okay, then I'll paraphrase it, if that's okay. The quote says something like this. You should use your talents, however great or small they are, because if only the most talented birds would sing, the forest would be a pretty silent place. Wow. And I feel like this is a pretty powerful illustration of how important it is that we chip in with the little we have. And I feel like in the Bible too, God has used so few resources for great causes. With the little boy who shared his lunch, I always confuse the number of fish and loaves. So, but you know the story when Jesus used that and he fed the multitudes. And I kept thinking at some point, what if the little boy said, "Oh, this is way too little. There's no way that I'm going to share this. It's impossible." Right. Exactly. I don't have enough of this talent. I'm going to keep it to myself and not embarrass myself. It must have taken a lot of courage to even say, "Hey, I have a little something." Jesus took that, he prayed over that, and he multiplied it immensely. And this is one of the miracles that a lot of us remember since Sunday school. And there's another example in the Old Testament with, I forget if it's one of the prophets. I kept forgetting who it is. But with this widow, she gives a little of the oil that she has left, and he tells her that she should get however many pots or something she can get, and he will multiply. And the oil just kept multiplying is not the right word, but
springing up. There was a backwards leak or something.
I think the Bible kind of phrases that a little differently, but
depends which translation you're using.
the New Mark translation. It's pretty how that's in there. But I feel like this is telling of how God uses our talents, and how even the little that we have, if we give it to Him, and if we let it out there in the open, then He can use us. And it doesn't have to be amazing to begin with. That's His job.
Yeah.
So it would be nice if we could all do our talent for a living. Once we discover what we're kind of good at or we're encouraged to do or someone else helps us identify that, it would be nice if we could do that and make a living and we'd be doing the best thing that we could. But not everyone can do that, I guess. That's my view, I guess. Is that right? What advice would you give to someone whose talent is putting their hands against one wall and their feet against the other wall and like walking I'd circus them maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, or they can have a video on YouTube and get millions of likes.
That's okay. Yeah, but that doesn't pay the bills. But maybe they don't have that many bills, so maybe it's still okay.
My opinion on this is that yes, I don't think we can all just leave everything we have, leave the bills for someone else to pay, and just start doing what we like best or what we're most talented at. But no one can stop us to develop them. No one can stop us to do what we like best in our spare time, to make time to do what we like best. And there's so many stories of people who've succeeded and I feel like we live in a time when we have so many opportunities to do this. Like, and I have this one example of a friend of mine. She's a fashion designer. She studied for that. She graduated in fashion design, and she was also very passionate about journalism. So she was telling me about her dream job, and she was saying, I'd love someone to come to me and say, hey, would you want to do a fashion show on television, like to just talk about fashion trends and outfits and just things like that. And she says, but yeah, no one will take a graduate like me, like you have to have connections, you have to have the money, like all that stuff. And then what we came up with, we said, why don't you just start a blog and just have your own little videos. Like every week post a video, a little show where you talk about trends, where you talk about the things and do your research, do it the best way you can, really have a go at it and just post it out there, post it for people to see. And you don't need someone to come and say, there you go, this is your dream job, do it. You can just start doing it and who knows what will happen, I mean, this friend of mine, I'm obviously not very good at giving advice because she went on to do dentistry. So maybe the advice is a little flawed, I don't know. But there's so many examples, even with people I follow online. For example, there's this guy, John Acuff, and he's a Christian author. And he had this day job that he didn't like very much, but he was starting this Christian humor blog. It's called Stuff Christians Like. And he was writing it in his spare time. He was waking up very early in the morning. He was doing that. And it actually got very big. And he got to publish a book. He eventually left his day job to become a full-time author and speaker and leader and influencer. And this is the story of many, many people. Einstein, he had a clerk's job, and in his spare time, and my husband's theory is that his job was so boring that he did physics. Which
this is a scientific theory.
Yeah, yeah, it's the facts right there. So and to me, physics is just as boring, but to him, it obviously wasn't. Who could have stopped him to do that? So yeah.
I think that's a great takeaway. That let me see if I can mix this up.
Okay.
I'll try. But that even if we can't do our talent or our passion for a living, that shouldn't stop us from doing it for fun. So even if I weren't getting paid a lot tonight to do this, then I should